Welcome back to the XWO Gaming Guide to Dark Souls Level 1 Edition. In episode 8, we're going to be making our way through SEN'S Fortress and heading up to ANOR Londo. So, starting at the bonfire at the Daughter of Chaos, make your way back to Blighttown. Continue on through the Poison Swamp, and make your way back up to the water wheel. Climb the ladder, and wait on the edge here for the water wheel platform to take you up to the top. Once you reach the top, roll off and follow the route I'm taking, climbing up all of the ladders to leave Blighttown once and for all. Don't hang around killing any of the enemies, just get the heck out of here. Kill this guy because he gets in your way, and take the final ladders up. From here, head through the dark tunnel and deal with the fatties on your way to the Valley of Drakes. Cross the narrow planks and head down to the New Londo ruins. And then take the elevator back up to Firelink Shrine. Next, give the Firekeeper the Firekeeper's Soul. This reinforces your Estus flask and it heals you a little bit more every time you take a drink. Rest up, do the usual routine, and this time we're going to be making our way to the Catacombs. This is King Seeker Frampt, we don't need to deal with him just yet, so continue on our way. Don't run off the edge like I almost did. Head on down the stairs and towards the skeletons we ran away from earlier. With your reinforced club equipped, they should crumble every time you hit them. Just be careful as these guys can parry and riposte you. They also cause bleed damage, so be mindful of that as you don't want to be caught out. Be careful here as two small skeletons rise up, make that 3 and also a giant one. Just keep backing up, dealing with them one at a time. The big skeleton also staggers when you hit him with the reinforced club. Collect the binoculars if you want them, but they are optional. and then get your bearings. As you can see, I get a little bit lost here. But get your bearings, return to the stairway and continue down. Once we enter the catacombs, keep to the right hand side because we're about to go onto a narrow platform. You'll notice some floating red skulls to the left. Be careful of those because they can explode and send you flying off the edge. Deal with the skeleton waiting for you. And carry on your way. It's worth pointing out that the skeletons here do respawn, and you don't get any souls for defeating them yet. Try to avoid those red skulls as they are pretty dangerous. Continue on and you'll reach a ladder and take that down. At the bottom, make a left through this doorway here, down the short staircase and make a left again. The spawning skeleton may get in your way, so just run around him. And once you're at the bottom, kill this necromancer here. Now that he's down, the skeletons here won't respawn when you've killed them. However, they will respawn once you rest at a bonfire. But you only need to kill them once. Just be careful because if 3 follow you down there, the bleed damage can build up pretty quickly. I got lucky there, he was able to parry me, but he didn't get the critical hit off. Now pull the lever. Light the bonfire, and you know the drill. Okay, next up can get pretty tricky and dangerous. So make sure you're completely happy with losing all of your souls and any humanity you're holding. So follow the route I'm taking here, dealing with the skeletons as we go. Two of them will be waiting for you up ahead. Try and lure them one at a time, and also be careful because you're on a narrow ledge and you can plummet to your death. Occasionally they drop their weapons, but we won't be using them. From here, cross the bridge and through the doorway. In here, the skeletons will respawn if you kill them, so we need to look out for another necromancer. Also watch out for the skeleton archer, he will shoot you in the back. For some reason, the necromancer isn't here. This has been quite an unusual playthrough, I must say. It's happened several times in this guide. We've somehow lost the channeler. and a necromancer. Anyways, continue on dealing with skeletons as you go. Just making sure they don't get that bleed damage build up on you. There's nothing down that dead end, so carry on. Through this doorway and make a left. A couple more skeletons wait for you here, one of them being the archer. So the archer fell down and I'm not going to go after him, so I'll just deal with the swordsman here. So next we're going to go out onto this walkway. There's more red heads and more skeletons that rise from the dead and a couple lurking back here. Press onto the end and deal with the skeletons. So what we're going to do here, we're not going to take the intended route. Look out for those statues as well, the spikes will catch you as well. Just trying to get my bearings. And you want to carry on down these stairs. Avoid this skeleton if you can. And deal with the necromancer in here. And any skeletons that follow you through. He dropped a skull lantern, that will come in handy later on. Bear in mind he doesn't always drop that and we'll have to collect another one later on anyway. Drop down the hole but try and land on the ledges. I got extremely lucky surviving a fall from that height. And once you're at the bottom, heal up and jump down the hole. And here you will encounter a hidden blacksmith. He's not particularly friendly. Deal with any skeletons and light this bonfire, but do not rest at it. Resting here will make it extremely difficult to get out of the catacombs. What we want to do is speak to the blacksmith, give him the chaos ember, and give him the large flame ember, and then upgrade the other two reinforced clubs that we bought. We want one attuned to fire and another one upgraded along the chaos path. Once we've done all that, if we didn't rest at the bonfire, we can use a homeward bone to get out of here. So hand over both of the embers, upgrade one reinforced club on the fire path and another on the chaos. If you don't have enough green titanite shards, return to Blighttown and kill the green slimes until you have enough. In order to upgrade to Chaos and Fire, you first have to get a reinforced club to +5 using Titanite shards. Here you can see I spent some time farming green Titanite as I have 90 shards. You don't have to farm for that many. I just did because if you feed the green Titanite to Kingseeker Frampt, he will give you 5 Titanite shards for every 1 green that you feed him. If you only bought 2 reinforced clubs instead of 3, I would recommend upgrading it to Fire, unless you're happy to farm for humanity from the rats in the depths. Otherwise go for Chaos. Chaos does more damage as long as you're holding 10 soft humanity. I've gone for both, just in case I die unfortunately and lose all of the humanity I'm holding. Fire is a perfectly suitable backup for a chaos weapon. So chaos weapons require red titanite chunks, and fire weapons require green titanite. Once the fire weapon gets to +5, you will need red titanite chunks to upgrade it further. Now that we have one of each, use a homeward bone to get the hell out of the catacombs. And it will put us at the first bonfire. Next, equip your Chaos or Fire reinforced club, rest at the bonfire and do the usual routine. And it's time to make our way out of here. Head on up the ramp again and deal with the skeletons. And as you can see, with 10 humanity and a chaos infused weapon, I'm one-shotting the skeletons. They still take 2 hits with a one-handed attack. Defeat these guys so they don't follow you up the ladder. And then make your way to the ladder and climb up. Deal with the skeleton on the way up, and watch out for the floating red heads. Lure the second skeleton back. and then run all the way up the stairs. Next, sprint back through the graveyard and return to Firelink Shrine, and ignore any enemies on the way. Deal with any skeletons that get too close to the bonfire, because they won't let you rest. As you can see, that's a crazy amount of damage for a chaos weapon, and that's before I've even got it to +5. Next, speak to Griggs.
Incidentally, would you care to learn any sorceries? You're clearly talented, and besides, I owe you. Of course, we will require some materials, but I'm happy to teach you some elementary spells. Are you interested? Splendid.
Say yes to his question.
Pleased to have a chance to give something back. Well then, let's get started straight away.
And if you have enough souls, you want to buy the Bellowing Dragoncrest ring and the Lingering Dragoncrest ring. After that, we don't need him anymore. So go ahead and kill him. He drops some humanity and the Slumbering Dragoncrest ring and the Hush sorcery. Collect all of the loot. Rest up at the bonfire. And now we're going to make our way to the Undead Parish. Head back down and speak to the blacksmith. Buy some Titanite shards. And reinforce the armor set that you intend to wear. I'm going for the standard leather armor, as it provides a decent level of protection and allows us to still quick roll. So I'm just equipping the armor I've upgraded here. The black leather set is still pretty good if you want some poison resistance when you return to Blighttown for any farming that you need to do. Okay, so return back up the stairs to the bonfire. And finally, head out this doorway and cross over this bridge. We're about to enter SEN'S Fortress. This place can be pretty difficult or pretty easy, depending on how you play it. First things first, you want to lure the snake men out to you. There's a trap on the floor, and occasionally it will kill one of them. This guy was pretty smart and he jumped over it. And this guy walked around it. These guys are pretty easy to backstab, so feel free to just sneak on behind them and fish for the backstab, treating them as if they were a black knight. So head on up these stairs here and onto the narrow bridge. And as you can see, we've got some swinging blades to avoid. So just be patient and cross over the bridge, dodging the blades as you go. Once you get across, you want to go left and up the stairs. Next, we've got some more swinging blades and a narrow bridge, but this time we have a caster waiting on the other side for us. So we need to get across as quickly as we can and deal with that mage. So dodge the first two blades, then the second two, and put a beat down on this enemy. Avoid the trap there and open the chest for 2 large titanite shards. Head on up the short staircase and over the narrow bridge, and down to your right will be another snake man. Get his attention with a fireball and take care of him when he runs up to you. Run forwards and quickly run back away and let the snake man get squashed by the boulder. If you're lucky, he'll get hit by another one. But if he doesn't, just deal with him. Next, slowly walk out and hide in this little nook here. And once the boulder passes, sprint up to the next nook on the left hand side. This will be a fog gate, but we're not going to go through it just yet. Make your way to the top of the stairs and defeat the caster. And open the chest at the back for the ring of steel protection. We won't be equipping this ring just yet. So head on back out. Wait for the boulder to come down again, and follow it down and go through the fog gate on your right. So in here, roll over the trap and run into the next room and deal with the snake boy. With him dealt with, continue on up the stairs. Wait for the next boulder. And sprint as fast as you can behind it, all the way to the bottom. Once at the bottom, make a left. Now do not open this chest, you want to beat this chest up, because it's a mimic. Best way to do it is get behind it and just whack away. And he's dealt with before he even has a chance to attack. He drops a helpful lightning spear, but since we're a level 1 build, that won't be of any use to us. Next, stand here and wait for the boulders to fill the hole on the left hand side. Once the hole is filled, the next boulder will break a hole in the wall. So head on through and grab the covetous gold serpent ring. This ring increases all of the item drops and comes in handy when farming for chunks, shards and humanity. Next, go back into the room with the mimic and step on this bloody platform. Once it carries you to the top, get off immediately, as it will continue on upwards and crush you on the spikes. Up the stairs and through the gate. Press on and go down this staircase. And as you can see, the boulders at the top aren't coming down your way. So head on up the staircase. From here, push the lever, and this will change the direction that the boulders fall. Then head on through this corridor. Step on the pressure plate and wait for the trap to deactivate, and then head on. Next, head this way for an even narrower bridge and more swinging blades to avoid. These ones have to be avoided in one go, so just sprint across, and when you reach the end, turn right to deal with another snake boy. You can drop down that hole if you want to, but I wouldn't recommend it, because then you'll have to climb all the way back up to the top. Continue on this route and deal with another snake boy. But be careful, because the caster above you could have followed you down. So deal with her too. Head on back and up the stairs that the caster came from. And you'll be on another narrow bridge with more swinging blades and another caster. Use your fireballs to deal with her. The last thing we want is for her to zap us in the back as we're trying to avoid these blades. And then take your time across the narrow walkway. And get ready to dodge these blades. So head on to the safe zone in the middle, and then dodge the second two. There's 2 pressure plates on the floor, so be careful of those because you will trigger another dart trap. Head on through the fog gate. And quickly follow this route to reach the bonfire. At the bonfire, continue with the usual routine. Head on out and drop back down onto the staircase. And make your way up. Now you have to keep moving here because the giant will be throwing huge boulders at you, and I don't think you can survive more than one of them. Head on down this way and you'll encounter another one of these guys. Just like at the Undead Parish, stay behind and keep hitting him in the back. With 10 humanity and our chaos weapon, he goes down pretty quickly. Press on and go down the ladder. As we're about to encounter a rather difficult NPC. Now, as you can tell from the transition, he already killed me once. This guy will kill you with a single parry, so be extremely careful. The idea really is to parry him back. I just wasn't very successful in getting one off. Luckily, I was able to sneak behind him so I can create some distance between me and him. So now that I'm fully healed, I can go back down and have another crack at him. Just be careful because he can hide on the edge of the corners. So he's got his bow and arrow out. I still wasn't able to get a hit on him. Eventually I got the parry I was looking for and put him down. He drops his weapon, but we won't be using it. Back up to the top to open the 2 chests. And we get a divine blessing and the rare ring of sacrifice. Once again, do not equip that ring. There's a time and a place, and I'll point it out when we need it. With that optional guide dealt with, continue on this way. I'm going to head back to the bonfire because I only have 3 Estus. And from here, just follow the route we took before. Once again, keep moving when you're up here to avoid the bombs hitting you. And head on up the staircase here. Next we're going to head left. But first we need a bit of a run up. So we can do a little bit of parkour over the gap. Head on down the long stairway and defeat this caster. A nice easy backstab will do the trick. And collect the cage key. Then make your way back up. Back up the top, speak to the merchant here.
What? Another undead, eh? But I'm no different. You think you're different? But yes, so...
And this guy sells titanite shards, large titanite shards, and green titanite shards. Although they are quite pricey, so if you haven't been farming for souls, you may not be able to afford all of this. Grab some green blossoms as well. Pick up the rings if you want, but we won't be needing them.
Make something of it for nothing.
Next, perform some parkour over the... Oh shit. And if that happens, not to worry. Just make your way back up. Be careful because there are a few Baldenites down there. We don't have to deal with them, I'm just running away. You'll notice I didn't grab that item there because it's bait. It's nothing important anyway. This time, head right from the parkour jump. And once you get here, go left. Deal with this guy, preferably better than the way I do it. Just so he doesn't follow us up. And run along to the end. As you can see, that was a dead end with nothing useful. But it's just a good idea to get rid of that enemy, just in case he follows us round. You can use the cage key there if you like, and that creates a shortcut back to the bottom of SEN'S Fortress. But we don't need to go back down there. So follow this round, go around the narrow walkway, and up the narrow stairs. Up here, a hollow soldier will be waiting for us. Deal with him. And we'll reach the fog gate to the next boss. First, however, we want to go up here and deal with the giant that's waiting for us. Stay beneath his feet and make sure you don't get stomped. And eventually he'll get tired, allowing you to wail on him. The reason we want to defeat this guy is because he will continue to throw bombs down at us while we're fighting the boss, making it that little bit more harder. Next, before we go to the fog gate, quickly run over here. This part's entirely optional if you're in human form. If you want help, you can make friends with Iron Tarkus there and summon him into your world for some extra help against the boss. We're not doing this, so let's fight the Iron Golem by ourselves. First thing you'll do is the Sonic Boom, so roll through it. And try and get underneath him. Roll away from his grab attack and keep attacking his feet until he falls over. Much like the giant before, make sure you don't get stomped. And once you've hit his legs enough, he'll topple over. Allowing you to wail away. And there we go, the Iron Golem. Easy peasy. Once he's down, you get the core of the Iron Golem. And as usual, you drop some humanity. Because I farmed for 99 humanity, I always have to use one before I can pick one up. but that's no big deal. The next thing we need to do is examine that ring and watch the cutscene. And after the cutscene, we get dropped off at ANOR Londo. Follow the stairway down. And when we reach the bottom, ignore the giant suits of armour. We won't be fighting them yet. Pressing on, to our left is the bonfire. And that is likely where we're going to wrap this episode up today. Speak to this NPC here.
Well, welcome to the Lost. If you seek Lord Grim, exit here.
This is a firekeeper, and if you have any firekeeper souls, she'll be able to reinforce your Restus flask. At the bonfire, do the usual stuff. Reinforce any armour if you want to. In this case, I'm getting my leather armour up a little bit more. And once you've finished upgrading any equipment, we're going to wrap this episode up. And next time, we're going to deal with ANOR Londo.